Hey, I'm Lindsay, and I wanted to show you guys some kind of tips and tricks I've used to transition my life to more sustainable. I grew up in Ohio, and I didn't have like a really deep connection with the ocean until I moved to Hawaii. And then I visually saw the impact that all of these plastics and single-use waste items are having on our oceans and our beaches, and it really wanted me to make some serious changes. But I was starting on one extreme end of the spectrum, which was just very convenience-based. Definitely didn't think twice about single-use products. And then I kind of saw the light, but it was overwhelming to think, where can I start? So I encourage you to start just in one thing, and then another thing, and who knows, in years you'll be shocked at how much you can eliminate. And I am still very imperfect, but I try to tackle one space, one thing at a time, and get a little bit closer to a more sustainable lifestyle and as waste-free as I can be. So I invite you to not be discouraged by where you're starting, but look at the small changes you can make and what a big impact they can have. So today I want to talk to you about coffee and where I started and where I am now. I used to just always get coffee to go in a paper cup, plastic lid, best case scenario compostable. And I felt fine, like, oh, it's going to be recycled or composted. But in fact, very few of those single-use containers are composted or recycled in a meaningful way. Even if things can be recycled once, the max amount of plastics can be recycled is about 5 times. And for compostables, more and more commercial composting facilities won't take single-use food packaging waste because it's changing the nutrient level of their soil. And a lot of those compostables are not organic. So knowing that, I realized, okay, I gotta change this. So I started by making coffee at home. I used to have a coffee maker, but when I dug deeper, I realized coffee makers are often plastic, and you're pouring hot water into a plastic mechanism. And what happens is those bisphenols, the BPAs that you hear about, they're released when hot fluid hits those plastics. BPAs are linked to infertility and endocrine disruption, and there's a lot of research that shows that correlation is really strong. So I really recommend moving to glass. If you don't want to buy a new Chemex, mason jars work well. There's a lot of creativity that you can use in this space because really, you know how you make coffee? Coffee in some kind of filter and a receptacle to get the fluid. So for you engineers out there, I'm sure you can think of really cool things, but for me, this or a mason jar works great. So I found after looking around that the coffee sock was a really great way to chip away at my coffee filter waste. And I was going through at least one a day of those, which, you know, ends up being quite a few in the course of a week. So I looked at the options, and the coffee sock was awesome because it's made of cotton, it's organic material, and it's non-toxic, so I felt really comfortable. So we use a Chemex, and then we use the coffee sock. When you first get the coffee sock, it asks you to boil it. You don't have to boil it before every use. You can boil it only if the coffee sock is getting clogged up from the coffee oils. I've heard friends say that they hesitated to buy the coffee sock because they thought they would put it in the washing machine and didn't want to drink laundry detergent, which is fair, but that's not what you do. You just boil it if you need to wash it. Every other time you use it, you just rinse it. So you boil it, you can see it's just hot off the boiler. And then I boil my water. I use this teapot. I grind my own beans. Sometimes we roast our own beans. Sometimes I get Stumptown because that's my fave. And then I put a couple scoops of this in my coffee sock. I make a little extra because I'm an all-day coffee drinker. And then when the water is boiled, just pour it over top. The first bit, this is more coffee than waste-free stuff, but I pour water into the sock and I let it flour. So that means that you let it sit for a minute or two after the first pour over. And I don't know, it makes it taste better. After you let it flour, then you'll just refill it in a swirling motion, although honestly, life is busy and I end up usually just filling it and walking away, and it still tastes pretty good. So after it's done flouring, you just keep pouring. It's honestly not much longer than your coffee maker. It only takes a couple minutes to do it this way. And I feel like there's something really rewarding about making your coffee rather than just pushing a button. I know how busy we all are, and I'm so busy. A lot of times I pour, walk away, go brush my teeth or whatever, and come back and pour again. It's completely fine. But it's nice to have like your control over your coffee and feel like this is a product that you made. You ground the beans, you are using your coffee sock that you love, and that you're doing the hand pour over yourself. So this has really changed my morning routine, and I wake up excited about making coffee versus just waking up to a machine having made it for me. And I am very not domestic, so if I can do it, you can do it too. So after your coffee is done pouring, you can put the coffee grounds in your compost bin. I'll just put it in the sink for now. And then you have like a really delicious cup of coffee. And nothing to throw away, which is amazing. So that's my zero waste coffee routine. So if you'd like to try a coffee sock, they have them available on their website. It's coffeesock.com, and also Thrive Market has those, as well as some other cool items that will help you transition away. Just a reminder, if you've already bought coffee filters, use those up. Those already exist. I only recommend buying new things if you need to replace something and if you're going to use it enough times that it makes sense. So the coffee sock says that they can be used up to 500 times. So it can replace 500 coffee filters. And I haven't tested whether it can be used past that, but I mean, I really try to use things to the very, very end of their shelf life, because that's really the most sustainable way to do things. So use up the coffee filters you have, and then look at Coffee Sock or Thrive Market and see if you can transition to a different system. Also, if you don't want a Chemex, mason jars work fine. You can literally just put a filter in a large mason jar. And I've done that. Our first one we shattered. And so in the interim, before I could afford to buy another one of these, we used a mason jar and it worked great. So anyways, yeah, good luck with your new life. Bye.